Greatest dynasty. Are we saying where do the Warriors stack up dynasty-wise, all sports?
All sports but professional.
Okay.
Professional, unless you pulled something from college.
No. So all professional sports,
any professional sports dynasties.
So when I look at this, and this is all impressive. Golden State, they had 5 straight NBA Finals appearances.
Yep.
All right, not the last 5, but 5 straight. You won 6 out of the last 8. Or you've been in 6 out of the last 8, I'm sorry. And you've won it 4 times.
Yep.
He's won it the same amount of times LeBron has. Then I look at the Patriots. Because I see philosophies are different. Patriots have 8 Super Bowl appearances since 2002. 6 Super Bowl wins. The one Brady just won was obviously with the Bucs. So if you're comparing dynasties there, I think the question you ask yourself is, the Patriots did it for kind of longer. You see how long of the spans Tom Brady was with the Patriots and the success that they had. But I'm looking at Golden State. 5 straight finals appearances, which is, it's tough to do. 6 out of the last 8, like I said. So 5 in a row, then 6 out of the last 8. And you won it 4 times. And you did it without KD, with KD, then without KD. So it's not like it was one person came in, saved you like Tom Brady did for the Patriots. So, man, I'm looking at it right now. And while it is harder, in my opinion, to win a Super Bowl than it is an NBA championship, I'm going to have to go with the Warriors because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think they're done.
Over the Patriots?
I know we're looking at
that's a whole nother point.
I know, but I think we're in the midst of it. We've already seen the Patriots time. See, that's kind of run its course. Not that the Patriots won't be good, but that's run its course. I don't think we're done yet with the Warriors, and it is so unbelievably impressive with the talent you see in the league with the Giannis's and guys like this, that Steph and Clay and Draymond, that core, have stayed together and been able to do this in different ways with different rosters. And I do got to give Steve Kerr credit. I do have to give him credit. I'm not a big Steve Kerr fan, but I think the Golden State Warriors dynasty will end up being better than the Patriots, and you can make a good argument it's better than the Patriots.
Okay, interesting. And I guess, too, one thing to consider is, like, how much of the core needs to be intact to be considered the same dynasty, because with the Patriots, it's like they have the same coach and the same quarterback.
Yep.
And owner, if you go that high. But after that, there were a lot of pieces that got shuffled around. I think the great point you make on Golden State is the pre-KD, you won with KD, and now you've won post-KD, and they're not even finished.
No.
I mean, possibly.
I mean, look at the young guys they have. Jordan Poole's not going anywhere.
No.
Wiggins ain't going
That
anywhere.
was one of the things was, like, on Golden State this season, a lot of people said, well, the older stars are too old and their young stars are too young. It's this wide gap for them to win a championship. That turned out to be false. People like Jordan Poole and some of those other players are just going to get better and better. For the greatest dynasties of all time, I made a few lists here. I still think, first of all, Boston Celtics, when they won 8 straight. They won 8 straight, 11 of 13. With Bill Russell and the gang in the 50s and 60s. That's incredible. Yankees in the 1950s had 8 of 10. They won 5 straights, which was really cool. I still think what the Patriots did was more impressive when you think that they went to half the Super Bowls in that amount of time with winning 6 of them. And I think the Bulls winning 6 straight with Michael Jordan. There was a 2-year gap, but winning 6 straight with Michael Jordan sort of is that next tier up there.
The Bulls. That dynasty to me with the Bulls because of when they played it. I know, look, Bill Russell, I get it back then. When you had Bill Russell, it was basically like you had Godzilla versus everybody else.
Yeah.
Back then. I think it's more impressive what the Bulls did with that run of 6 straight with Michael. And then you had him play baseball. And then you had him come back and all this other stuff. I still think that Bulls dynasty.
So I would say that would be like my first Mount Rushmore 4-tier. And then the next one, I think you put this Warriors team there. What the Steelers, what are you going to say?
You put Warriors at kind of 2? Is that what you're saying?
That sort of next tier of 4.
Okay.
But again, they're not done. Yeah. So they go win another 1 or 2. All of a sudden, this is a whole different conversation. But that what the Warriors done 4 in 8 years with the 6 of 8 finals going to them, I think is just that puts them sort of that next Mount Rushmore
in today's game, when the game's as good as it's ever been.
For sure. And then you had the Steelers 4 out of 6 Super Bowls in the 70s, which was really impressive. And then the 49ers in the 80s. And what the Spurs did with Tim Duncan and Greg Popovich, both won 4 championships in a 9-year span. Like, I think that's that next set of 4.
Would you have the 79 to 89 Lakers up there with Magic?
I think so.
I mean, five championships, 8 appearances.
I think so.
Yeah, I'd probably have them in that top tier. Right, when it comes down to basketball, especially NBA, I would definitely have the Warriors in the top 5.
I think
Dynasty.
the Lakers run you're talking about with Magic is a little more impressive than the one they had with Kobe and Shaq, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
I still think Kobe and Shaq are the best duo ever
Sure.
when it comes to basketball in general.
And Kobe got 2 more without Shaq.
Yeah, so I think that's the best duo. But I would put this Warriors team in the top 5, dynasties ever in the NBA. I mean,
Oh, in the NBA or all sports?
all sports, they'd be. It's so you're just penny pulling at that time.
NBA, where'd you put them?
I'd probably put them 4th.
Fourth.
Who would
you have in front of them?
I would have obviously the Bulls. I'd have the Lakers with Magic, and I'd have that Celtics team. With Bill Russell.
The Bill Russell,
Bill
not
Russell,
the Larry Bird.
Yeah,
So
I'd probably have this Larry Bird probably at 5 or 6.
So you'd put Kobe and Shaq behind the Warriors.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would. I mean,
Which is funny. It's always funny to me because you would think in theory that to have the best team or the best combination, you need the best guard with the best center.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always work out like that. You look at Clay and Steph and how, nasty
how different
they've
the
been
game is
together.
now.
It's how different the
That's
game
how
is.
different the game is.
Because if I was starting from scratch and you said, Jake, all right, I will let you build the greatest combo ever, I would again, what's better than having a great offensive line? Having a great offensive line, a great running back.
That's one of the reasons, if y'all don't remember this, when we did pick those teams, we did draft those teams. I drafted my team more of we're a shooting team. You could run small or big, but I drafted Kobe. I drafted Steph. I want to be able to pull the 3 because nowadays in the game today, the 3 is such more of an emphasis than just today than it was back then.
And the 3
Last night they were just launching.
That's what the Warriors
And the
did.
3
No, both teams. There was one point down the court, they were both just launching.
Yeah.
I was like, put the ball in the paint at some point.
Yeah. Well, again, like I said, a lot of times when Jaylen Brown put the ball on the deck, but I will say this, just to kind of bounce back, I was shocked at how many offensive rebounds the Warriors were able to get last night. Again, it just continued to shock me. Boston didn't look like they were hustling after the ball. Absolutely blew my mind with the way the Celtics play and their identity.
I want to say one more point about this Warriors dynasty. Reminds me so much of the Greg Popovich Spurs dynasty,
doesn't it, though?
Because you can make the argument that neither one of those teams or neither one of those dynasties had the best player in basketball. Like Steph hasn't been the best player in basketball. LeBron has for a long time, and now I think you can make the argument.
Well, did they ever? Did they? I would take Shaq over Tim Duncan. I don't think they would have considered Tim Duncan the best player.
No,
in the
that's
NBA,
my point.
Oh, no,
Either
I'm
one
with
of
you.
them.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I mean, now the man was the best I've ever seen shooting the ball off the backboard. I mean, he went really old school, but I don't think he was ever really considered the greatest player.
5 championships, 6 finals appearances. And you think about the guys they had to go through too. They went through Kobe Bryant, Shaq, Dirk, Carmelo, Allen Iverson, Steve Nash, Damian Lillard, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook. Woo! 2 different versions of LeBron James.
That's saucy.
That's tough, man.
I know.
Those guys were so. I tell you what, this Warriors team was fun to watch, but one of the teams I loved to watch the most was that Spurs team.
Tony Parker. Him and Ginobili.
Yeah.
Ginobili
Invented the Euro.
Yeah, Ginobili had a spell book and everything. I wouldn't want to be.
And when they added Kawhi,
yeah, I wouldn't want to be around that guy with a Ouija board. Let's just put it that way. Ginobili's got a lot of witch in him. A lot of witch in him. Hey, if you like that content, go ahead and subscribe. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, String in a Cup. As long as you're listening, we appreciate you. Go subscribe now. It's Cranic Company.